A new report from Human Rights Watch says that new aid distribution sites in Gaza managed by Israel have resulted in the deaths of hundreds of aid seekers. As Israel's war in Gaza nears 2 years, over 60,000 people have died inside the enclave. That includes over 150 deaths from malnutrition, half of those children. International pressure on Israel to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza is growing. Israel is overseeing deliveries, saying it wants to make sure they don't get into the hands of Hamas. But hundreds of people have died in shootings near aid distribution sites, which has caused more international criticism. And to learn more about aid distribution in Gaza, our reporter Tiffany Wong spoke with Ahmed Benchemsi, spokesperson for Human Rights Watch.
What are your findings about the new aid distribution sites that have popped up in Gaza over the past few months?
Our main finding is that the system that the Israeli forces has put forward with the help of private contractors is not only flawed and militarized, but it also turned aid distribution into bloodbath. According to the UN, the Israeli military killed at least 766 Palestinians attempting to obtain aid. We have many testimonies of people who were there Palestinians who were trying to get aid, who said that I saw a tank blow up the head of the person next to me. We were walking on the road that the Israeli military told us to walk on to get to the aid distribution site, and they started shooting at us from
How do these controversial aid sites work, and where do they get their funding from?
The mechanism is it's an entity called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is a very ironic name given what's happening on the ground. And it's operating on 4 distribution sites that were selected and constructed by the Israeli military. The U.S. Congress should move on that. It should require notifications of any additional funding, because there has been already an announcement of $30 million in funding for the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and the report on how U.S. funds are being used currently, including an assessment of effectiveness of the aid. That's the bare minimum that the U.S. Congress should do.
Recently, France, the UK, and Canada announced that if Israel does not agree to a ceasefire by September, they would recognize a Palestinian state. Does international pressure like this help the civilians in Gaza?
If that could be a way to pressure the Israeli government into doing very urgent measures consisting in opening, stop not firing at civilians anymore and letting aid flow in freely in a way that is respectful to their human dignity, I hope that leads to that. But it doesn't sound for me like the most urgent thing to do. We're talking about abiding by their obligations under the Genocide Conventions. And the Genocide Convention states that governments, all of them, all signatories, should use all forms of leverage, including targeted sanctions, arms embargoes, suspension of trade agreements, to stop Israelis' ongoing atrocities. Again, we're talking about huge proportion war crimes. We're talking about crimes against humanity, forced displacement, ethnic cleansing, acts of genocide. We're beyond shedding light on the situation. States have to move pursuant to their obligations under international law, and specifically the 1948 Genocide Convention that they signed, all of them.
That was Ahmed Benchemsi from Human Rights Watch.